How's it going out there? Welcome from H2TechVideos. Today we're going to be doing the part 2 of the Galaxy Note 3 for beginners. And this is going to be how to navigate the phone, what is what, kind of going over the different little icons you see and all that good stuff. So let's jump in, let's get started. So first thing I'm going to, this button down here is called the home button. And again, these tutorials, just to warn you, I go super beginner, first time smartphone user. So if some things I talk a little simple about, it's because I'm trying to make sure I touch everyone that watch this video. So if you know a little bit more, don't get frustrated. I'm just doing it so everyone can follow the video. Alright, so anyway, this big button right here is called your home button. And first of all, to wake up the phone when the phone is asleep, we're going to just hit that big button. And tapping the screen will not do anything. You actually do have to slide your finger across, and that's what actually will wake up the phone. So just definitely important note. On iPhones, like there's a button you slide across. On this, you just slide your finger across the screen, that's what wakes it up. So let me go over the buttons here first. So on the left side here we have our volume control, so we can press that to go volume up and down. Now one important thing here is there's a couple of different volumes you can control. When you press volume up and down, notice there's a little wheel right here. If we tap this wheel, we get to actually see the 4 different volumes that need to be controlled. Oh, went away. So there's ringtone volume, and notice the symbol. That symbol is for the ringtone. So when you do move it up and down, it's specifically controlling how loud the ringer is. So see that? That's the ringtone symbol. Now the next one is for media, and media is, for example, if you're goes away quick. Media is if you're watching a video, if you're on Instagram, if you're on listening to music, all that is considered media. That's separate from the ringtone. So you can actually put your phone on vibrate and the media can still be turned up. So if you're somewhere and you don't want your phone to make a noise, you can press the down button right here to bring the volume down, but you still may want to press the wheel, and you see how everything is turned down except for media. So you actually want to turn media down as well. So wheel, and now we want to make sure the media is down. I've been places where I've put it on vibrate and I went on Instagram and a video popped up and that video made noise and the phone still made noise. Or maybe I played a song and the song still played because although the ringer was down, the media wasn't down. So you just want to make sure you do that because you might be somewhere and your phone still might make a noise. Remember, when you turn that down, that's just going to turn it down so if someone calls you, the ringtone won't make a sound, but the phone can make other sounds. When you want to get it off of vibrate, just press the volume up and then it will raise it back up, and then we can go to the wheel here and you still will have to raise your media back up. Okay, so just a little note there. Alright, so on the right here we do have our this is our power button / your standby. So when the phone is on and you press it, it's just going to put it to sleep. The phone is still on, but it turns the screen off, which is going to conserve your battery. Okay, now we can press it again to wake it back up, and then we just slide across and that's what wakes the phone up. If you hold this button down, it'll bring up a menu that will let you power the phone off if you want to totally turn it off. You can also put it in airplane mode, and that's if you're getting on an airplane, you want to turn off all your cellular connections and your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, so it doesn't interfere with the plane. You can just tap that, and that will turn on airplane mode. Or you can tap restart, and that will restart the phone. Sometimes the phone is acting glitchy, or it's freezing, or if it's not working right, you can just go ahead and press restart, and that will restart the phone. This is also a quick shortcut to put your phone on vibrate, or if we want to put it on mute, for example. Now if you put it on mute, notice it does mute the ringer, but the media is still turned up. So you want to be mindful of that. That's why I kind of went over that first. So again, if we hold that down and it's on mute, we can just tap sound and that will turn the sound back up. And now you'll notice that the ringer is back to 100%. Okay, so that's kind of what that button does on the side there. At the top, obviously, we have our headphone jack if you want to plug in your own headphones. At the bottom here, we do have the jack that is for plugging in our charger. Now, another important thing to know, a lot of people do not know this, So this phone uses a very unique charging cord, and plugs in just like that, right? This is actually a newer micro USB. I forgot what the actual name is, but this is what chargers are going to be moving to in the future. It's a USB 3.0, so it allows for faster data transfer. But a lot of people don't know that you can actually use an older Android cable. So this is the older micro USB, and you can actually plug this in to the right to charge your phone as well. So if you have an older micro USB cable, guess what? You can use that to charge your phone. It works just fine. I use them both because I have two charging cables. So just an important thing to know, the older one as well as the newer cable that comes with it, you can use both to charge the phone. So that's that. Now I want to just do a walkthrough on each one of the things you see on the screen. I want to start specifically with our buttons at the bottom here. Now you can't see it right now, but this is a menu button right here. When you touch the screen, this will light up. So, but even when it's not lit up, it's still a button and you can still tap it. So when you tap, this is how you get to how to create a folder, how to add your apps and widgets, change your wallpaper if you want to change the background here, or edit your pages, or just get right to the settings. You can do it right by pressing this menu button. Again, it's not always lit up, but you can always tap it, and it is always a button you can use. This works a lot when you're in an app and there's extra features you can access. You just have to press that button right there. So that's your menu button. Next we have our home button, and then we have our back button. So for example, if I'm in an app, let's say if I go to the internet and then I was to tap on this, for example, and it changes page, I can actually press the back button and it will take me back a web page. So that's one example. Another example is if you were in the calendar, and let's say you got in the calendar and then you tapped this, and then you tap this, and then you tap this. Well, when you tap the back arrow, sometimes it will take you back a step, and sometimes it just takes you out of the app. So you got to kind of be mindful of that. But that back arrow is very useful to navigate your app. Sometimes you tap something in an app and you tap something else. For example, let's go to email real quick. Actually, no, I've never used the email app, so that's going to take time to load. What's a good example? From the Play Store, that's where we get our apps. Okay, so we go apps, Play Store. I'm going to go over that section in another video, so don't worry if I haven't explained that, I will. Let's say if we went to games and then we went to this app right here. We can use this back arrow to take us back to this section, and if we want to go back another step, we can tap it again, and then this is the first screen we saw. If we tap it again, it'll take us out of the app. See that? So that's kind of what the back button does. It kind of lets you go back a step. Most of the time it'll let you retrace your steps. Other times it will just take you out of the app and back to your home screen. Now I want to talk a little bit about this home button because it does a lot. So right now this is set as our main page here. Now if I'm on this screen, for example, I can press the home button and it will take us back to our home page. This is our main page right here. So again, if I'm here, tap it, it will take me back here. So you actually have, these are all different pages of the home screen, but you set one page to be your primary page, and that's what this is right here. So that's one thing it does. Another thing is if we're in an app, for example, if I'm in the phone and I tap that button, it's going to take me back to the home screen. You see that? The same thing if I'm in the internet, if I tap the home button, it takes me back. So that's always how you kind of get out of an app and how you get back to your main screen if you ever get lost or you tap the wrong app, or if you just want to get back here, the home button is what you're going to do. Now the home button also does a few more things. So if you hold down the home button, it will take you to what's called your multitasking, and this shows you all the apps that you have open. Whenever you open an app and then you hit the home button, it takes you out of the app, but it doesn't actually close the app. So all these are apps that I've gone to and I've closed, but they're these These are apps. Let me show you an example here, and we'll go over that too in a second. So if I open the camera and then I hit the home button, I'm not closing the camera, I'm just going back to the home screen. So that app is still running until I physically close it. And the way you close it is by holding down the home button, and now we can see all these apps that I have opened or gone to. And if I want to close them, I can swipe, so left or right, and that will specifically close. So now these apps are actually closed, they're no longer running. The reason you want to do this, you should do this every couple of hours, is because if not, these apps are going to continue to run and they're going to drain your battery. So you've got to be careful and make sure you think about this stuff, or if not, these things are going to continue to run and they're going to drain your battery. Now if you have a lot of apps running at one time, we can simply just press this button and it closes all the apps. So if I hold this down again, now I'll see no recent apps because now they're all closed. You see that? So that button is kind of like a close everything, and it just frees up some of your memory. If your phone is running slow, after you hit that button, you can come back here and then press this little pie chart, and you can go to where it says RAM, and then you can tap clear memory, and this will also close some other background things that are running, and it will allow the phone to run a little bit quicker. So that's another good little step to make sure the phone is running fast. If it's not, you can come here, clear memory, and that will give you a little bit more RAM, which allows the phone to move smoother. Okay, so once again, just to show you an example, if I open up the internet and then I hit the home button and go back to my home screen, it's still running, and the way I can check is hold down this home button right here, and there it is. Okay, now I may also open, let's see, I may open my gallery. Okay, and then hit the home button, and then I close it, and then if I hold down this home button here, now I have these two apps running. Now it's okay for your apps to run sometime, because you might be looking at something on the internet and you might have to put it down for a second to pick up a phone call, or you may have to answer a text message. So the cool part about this screen is you can just hold this down and I can tap here and I can go back to the internet and continue doing what I was doing. So in some ways, it will allow you to work a little bit more efficiently, because you don't have to find that app again on the home screen. You can just hold this down and tap it and get right back to what you were working on with that option. So anyway, that's that. The next thing here, if we hit the home button twice, so I'm gonna do a press real quick, it'll bring up a different option. Watch this. This is called S-Voice. We're going to confirm it, and we're going to agree, and so it's going to take us through a quick little walkthrough of S-Voice. So hit next. It shows you how when you see blue in the microphone, it means that it's listening, so that's when you speak. If you don't see blue, then if you talk, it's not listening, so you got to keep that in mind. And then let's go next. If you say hi Galaxy, then you can get it to start listening right away. And then you can also tap and you can type in certain things if it doesn't totally get what you're asking it. And these are some of the commands. You can say call so-and-so, you can say text so-and-so, you can have it look up contacts, you can have it schedule reminders for you, you can have it search the internet. So these are all different commands that you can ask it to do, and it'll do it for you. So we're going to hit finish. Hi Galaxy. And see, it's already listening. So I can say, what's the weather like today? So that's what it does when it's thinking.
Make sure you got your sunglasses today.
See that? So we can see that the weather's going to be good. So right now, notice it's not blue, so it's not listening. But if I say, hi Galaxy, now it's listening. Now I can say, when do the Lakers play again?
I have no specific answers for that. Let me do a search for an answer to now it's listening, not to say when the Lakers play again.
So let me try it again. This time I won't talk in between. So, hi Galaxy. When are the Lakers playing again?
Google search where the Lakers playing again.
So, anyway, you've kind of got to learn how to work with it, because it's not as intuitive as Siri is on the iPads, but it does work good once you get the hang of it. Again, that's just 2 presses. Press. Where's the nearest Jack in the Box?
I found a few places for you.
So see that? Kind of cool. You can have it search restaurants for you. You can have it set, again, reminders. You can do a lot of different things with it. So you kind of want to, you're going to have to play around with it a little bit to learn it. But once you learn it, it can be really useful. All right. Next thing here. There's a feature that's built into the menu button. When you hold down the menu button, it brings up a special search. Let me show you how to do that. Just put your finger on the button and keep it on there until it comes up. This is called S-Finder. Search for content on your device and find more on the web using, so you can actually write with the pen, or you can just say what you want. So whenever you see this at the bottom of a message, if it says do not show again, if you check this box, next time we open this, it won't show this again. So we're going to press OK. And now I can type in the search. Anything from, if I wanted to find a contact really quick, I could type that in. Let's see, this is a place I used to work, Baldwin Hills. It'll search the whole phone for anything that has to do with Baldwin Hills. So like I went to a movie in the Baldwin Hills area. This is something I put in my calendar. These are some of my contacts from Baldwin Hills. So this is a really useful feature, like if you're trying to find someone's phone number really quick, or if you're trying to find an address. Again, it'll search through text messages, it'll search through emails. It's very intuitive, and you can have it search from the past 30 days, past 7 days, yesterday, today, whatever. So, and then there are different ways you can communicate with it. You can have it search for an image, a video, whatever. So this is a really cool thing too, and it allows you to find things really quick. So if you want to find a contact, if you want to call someone, you can just type in the name, or you can hit the microphone and you can have it search that way. Let's can't think of anyone to put in the microphone right now, but anyway. So that's this is S-Finder, and again, we bring this up just by holding down the menu button. There it is. Okay. Alright, so those are kind of the main buttons. Now this back arrow does a few other things. I'm going to go over that though in a separate video. The next thing here, we're going to swipe down from the top. So right where it says Samsung, if you put your finger on Samsung and you just move straight down, this will bring up the notification panel. And so here we can see notifications about emails. We can see things about apps that need to be updated. There'll also be recommendations from the phone, like reset, So if we want to get rid of things on here, we can just swipe. That will close these things out. And we can also tap in this section. So for example, if it says you have new emails, if we tap right here, then it'll open up those emails. This is pretty cool too. So normally it's just gonna say, oh, you have 22 emails. If you want to see a more detailed view, or you can look at the first couple of emails, you take 2 fingers and then you're gonna swipe down, and that will show you a couple of the emails, and you can swipe back up like that. So you'll put your finger on it and just swipe down. You can swipe back up. I could even do this email right here, and I can see what does the message actually say, and then I can just swipe back up by putting your fingers on the email. If you tap it, it will open it up and it'll take you right to that section. Okay, so again, we're going to just swipe down from the top, and up here we have what are called switches. And so these switches allow us to quickly turn on and turn off things that are important. So first thing is Wi-Fi. If I tap this, it will turn on the phone so it can connect to a Wi-Fi network, and then it'll bring up this section and it will show you all the Wi-Fi networks that are close to you. So for example, the one in my house is it's morphin time, so if I tap, it's morphin time, it will ask me to put in the password. So let me put that password in. Awesome sauce. That's the password. And I can tap show password. You always want to check to make sure you put in the right thing. If you miss a letter or if you miss a capital, then it won't connect. So you have to make sure you have the password exactly the way it needs to be inputted, and then tap connect. And once I do that, it will connect, and it will tell you Wi-Fi connected. And then you'll have a little symbol that's going to pop up right at the top here. Where is it? Where is it? The symbol is right here, and that's the Wi-Fi signal. That little kind of looks like this. So that's the Wi-Fi signal. So for most of you guys, if you have the internet at home, if you have wireless internet, you definitely want to connect to your home Wi-Fi network, because then you won't be using your data from AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, wherever you got your phone from. Your phone probably has 3G or 4G. You want to use that as least as possible, because most plans you have a cap of how much you can use. So by you using your home Wi-Fi, this will help to cut down on you going over on that part of your bill. So again, we just swipe down, and when it's lit up, so like for example, right now Wi-Fi is lit up, that's how we know it's connected. Now when you leave the house, guess what? We want to turn off Wi-Fi, because now you're not close to your Wi-Fi network. So it doesn't make sense for you to have this on, because if this stays on all day, this will drain your battery. So be mindful of that. I wouldn't keep this on all the time. The next thing is your GPS, and a lot of people just let this run all the time. I don't, because when your GPS is on all the time, that will also drain your battery a lot. So you want to be mindful not to keep this running all day. Now GPS is important when you're going to use navigation. Just to show you, if we go to apps, and if you go to the one that says maps, for this app to work, you do have to have your GPS turned on. So if you see this little symbol to the upper left, that little flashing dot, that's the GPS signal. This has to be turned on, which is this right here, in order for you to like get directions on how to get somewhere. So now I'm going to swipe down. Let's say I just get home. I'm going to turn off my GPS, because I'm not going to use my GPS while I'm at home. When I'm going to use it, probably when I'm in the car, when I'm trying to look up directions. So this is another thing that I wouldn't keep on all the time, because this can drain your battery. Now the next thing we have here is our sound. So the same way I showed you how you can press the standby or power button to control the sound, you can also just swipe down. You know, you can bring up this notification section, and if you, so right now sound is turned on because it says sound, but when you tap it, it'll now say vibrate, and it has a slash over the microphone that lets you know that the phone is on vibrate. If you press it again, now it says mute, and that's how you know the phone is muted, so it's not going to make any noise. And then if we tap it again, it'll say sound, and it makes a little sound, let you know that the sound is back on. Okay. Next we have what's called screen rotation, and what this does is when you turn the phone sideways, it will actually rotate with the phone. Let's see, I think except if you're on the home screen. So if we swipe down here, or if we just turn the phone sideways, the phone will rotate sideways. If we turn it up, it'll rotate. Now if we swipe down and we turn this off, which is now it's not lit up, if I turn it sideways, the phone will not rotate. So that's kind of what that does. And if we turn it on, we can also do this. We can turn this sideways, and then we can turn it off, and now the phone will always work sideways, except for this menu right here. Oh, I guess not. So I guess if you turn it off, then the phone will always stay in portrait, which is the long way. So I usually keep this on though, because sometimes you're looking at a website or something, you want to rotate it. So that's something I always keep on. The next thing we have here is our Bluetooth, and that's if you want to connect to a Bluetooth speaker. You can just tap Bluetooth, and when you tap that, it will begin to search for Bluetooth devices. And then once a device pops up, you tap it, and then it will connect to that device. So that's kind of how your Bluetooth works. I'm going to hit cancel for now. We're going to swipe. Now notice right here, because you don't see anything at the top. When you're in the internet you can't see like your clock or your battery. You actually have to swipe twice to get that notification bar to come down. So watch, I'm going to swipe once. Now you can see it. So swipe once to see it, and then you swipe again, and that brings it up. So some apps will take over the whole screen, and when you're in those apps, you have to swipe twice. So once, and then one more time, and then it'll bring up the notification bar just like that, or notification section. When we can just swipe to the left, we have reading mode, which is supposed to optimize the screen so that it's easier to read if you want to read a book or something from your Kindle. I don't use it too much, so I'm not that familiar with it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. The next thing is we have blocking mode, and what this does is when you turn this on, you can actually set the phone to not make any noise between certain hours. So for example, you can set it to after 10 p.m. the phone won't ring, so that you can enjoy a relaxing time with your family. You can set it so like from 10 p.m. to like 7 a.m. it won't make any noise. You can even set it, for example, if you were at work in a long meeting, you could just put it on blocking mode and just say, I don't want to be disturbed between these hours, and then the phone won't make any noise between those times. So that's a cool feature. I don't get a lot of calls at night, so I don't really care about it, but some people get calls all night, and then if so, you may want to use blocking mode. Power saving mode is supposed to just conserve the battery better. Not too sure what exactly it does, but turning it on will help to preserve your battery a little bit longer. The next thing we have is our multi-window. This actually will allow you to run 2 apps at one time. I'm going to go over that a little bit more, I think, in part 4. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to go over that more in part 4 because that's a pretty long explanation of how that works. It's a cool thing, but it takes some time, so just, I'm not going to spend too much time on it right now. The next is screen mirroring, and basically there's a little device you can get. It's called the Samsung dongle. You can plug it into your TV's HDMI port. You can actually mirror your screen to your TV. So that's done through this. You would turn this on when you have that device to mirror. So not something you'd have on all the time, but nonetheless, that's what it does. The next thing we have here, if we tap right here, you can see other switches that are available. So we have something called S-Beam, which will allow you to send things to people that have a Note 3 or a Galaxy S4 or Galaxy S3. It really works more so with Samsung devices. So that's to like send pictures, music, playlists, documents, things like that. We also have NFC, which is it's a technology where you just tap things to like make it connect. For example, some of the new speakers are NFC compatible, like the Beats pill. If you just tap the pill, then it will allow you to connect via Bluetooth and start playing music. So this is a fairly new technology. It still doesn't do a lot yet, but a lot of devices are being made to work with it. So I actually am going to turn this off because I don't use it a lot. So, but to turn it on, you just hit that button in the corner, and that's how you get to this window. We're going to also go over air view, air gestures, all those different things a little bit later in some of the other series. We also have what's called Smart Stay, which is a feature that uses uses your face to see if you're looking at the phone and it's been more than 3 minutes. The phone will continue to stay on even though you haven't touched the screen. So this is a cool feature for when you're watching a movie or reading a book and you're not touching the screen a lot. It will use the little sensor at the top to see if it still recognizes your face, and if it does, it'll keep the screen on as long as you're using the phone. And the sync is just keeping your calendar, email, all those things updated, so you want to keep that on. And then we can just press that button right there to go back to our menu. You can also use 2 fingers and swipe from the top, and it will bring you right to that menu as well. So that's another thing, just 2 fingers to bring up the full list of switches. Alright, last 2 things, and we're going to wrap up this part 2. We have our brightness right here. So if you want to adjust the brightness of your screen, you would do that just by moving this left or right. This one to be full bright, full dim, or you can tap auto, and auto will adjust it based upon the room that you're in. So if the room has a lot of light, it'll dim it more. If the room is dark, it'll turn the brightness up a little bit more. So you can do auto, or you can control it yourself depending on how you want it to be. Alright, And then the last thing is we have a clear button right here. So if you have a couple of different notifications here and you want to get rid of them, you want to clear this out, we can just tap clear, and then it does get rid of all those notifications. Okay, so in a nutshell, we kind of went over our notification panel and everything that's in there. We also went over just our basic buttons. So this has been part 2 on the Note 3 for beginners. Obviously, this video was a lot longer than the first one because trying to keep things segmented for you guys. So part 3 is going to be about apps, widgets, and how to customize your lock screen. So make sure you check out that video next. That's going to really show you how to make your phone unique and you know, find cool apps for you and all that good stuff. So make sure you come back, check that out. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, favorite, and share the video, as well as subscribe to H2TechVideos and like us on Facebook. Take care and have a good one.